my fourth step right there. Fifth?
You got kids?
6 years. Right here.
They didn't recognize the name?
He is, yeah.
Check one, mic check.
Southampton County School Board. We have 7 of our 8 appointed members present, so we do have a quorum. Is there a board member who would like to add an item to the agenda? Then do we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion.
Have a motion by Ms. Bradley. Second. A second by Mr. Smith to approve the agenda as presented. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The minutes of our previous meeting were in your board documents. Are there any corrections to the minutes as presented? So if there are no corrections, then the minutes are approved as distributed. So we are now down to one of our favorite parts of the agenda, and that's the Superintendent Student of the Month recognitions. Dr. Shannon.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our June 2023 school board meeting. It gives me great pleasure to have our building principals recognize our students of the month. These students have displayed excellence and kindness within our schools and our community. I am incredibly proud of our students, and I am sure that they will continue to be champions for kindness and academic excellence as the school year comes to a close. At this time, our principals will come forward and recognize our students. Capron Elementary School, Mrs. Natasha Rose.
Good evening, everyone. I stand before you to recognize our Superintendent Student of the Month for June, this young man, 4th grade student, Jelani Boyd. So Jelani is a 4th grade student at Capron Elementary School. He was selected for his, what I would call, a random act of kindness. I was outside doing bus duty maybe about 2 weeks ago, and as I looked behind me, there was a young man coming down the steps with a snare drum from band class. He was having a hard time coming down the stairs with his snare drum, backpack, and all of his belongings. Well, Jelani did not know that I was watching. Jelani, as he was coming out the door behind the student, stopped, turned around, and helped that young man come down the steps with his drum. He wasn't looking for any recognition at all. He didn't even know that I was watching him. But that really stood out to me. And on that day, I said, thank you, Jelani, for being so kind. And Jelani was like, you know, what did I do? Because it didn't even, trigger anything to him, that he was just being kind. So for that reason alone, I selected Jelani as our student of the month.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next, we have Maharan Elementary School, Mrs. Susan Fowler.
Good evening, board. I'm excited tonight, and probably my excitement doesn't show quite as much as I really wanted to. I have a phenomenal student that I'm so proud to introduce you to from Maharan. I'm going to call her up and tell you all the fun things about her. Her name is Miss Cadence Soames. Cadence, come on up. All right, so Cadence is a first grader at Maharan. And a little bit about her, her family moved to our area early in the summer. Her mom was very proactive, came in over the summer, made sure all of her paperwork was done, wanted to make sure she talked to us about Cadence, and to let us know kind of what was going on. And that was a true indication that it was going to be a good relationship between our school and her family. And at first, Cadence was, when you hear fight or flight, Cadence was definitely the flight kind of girl. So we had all hands on board approach with Cadence, and to make sure that we were able to give her everything she needed. June doesn't look anything like September with this young lady. She, not just emotionally, socially, but academically, she has soared this year, and so she is a true representation of what our motto, SOAR, is. But I wouldn't let tonight go remiss without really recognizing her mom, Hannah Talbert. And her novel teacher, Miss Ashley Van Dyke. Really, because without them, it's a true definition of collaboration, communication. There was never a time that we called Miss Talbert to say, hey, we're kind of out of our little tricks and trades, what can we do? And Ms. Talbot would get Ms. Van Dyke in touch with Cadence's former teacher from her old school, and her teacher would call from the old school and put all, hands on deck and figure out what we could do. So I'm proud to announce that Cadence is reading above grade level. She's performing above grade level, and she is super ready for 2nd grade. So great job, Cadence.
Next, we have Nottoway Elementary School, Mrs. Susan Street.
Good evening. I'm going to call Miss Breland Hewitt on up. Breland is one of my 3rd graders at Nottoway. She started out in pre-K with me, and then she went to a different school, but then she came back to me. And I have to tell you of how proud I am of this young lady. Over the course of this year, she has grown so much in her reading and her math, but she's also one of my miracle babies. She has been through several surgeries, and one of the things that she has also done and accomplished this year is she has run her first 5K.
Wow.
And so no matter what obstacle is put in her path, she has always done it with this beautiful smile on her face. She is such a positive role model at school, and I couldn't think of a better person to give my superintendent's award to. So Breland, congratulations.
Thank you. Next, we have Riverdale Elementary School, our co-principals, Mrs. Tammy Brady and Mrs. Keisha Walker.
Good evening, everyone. The first Riverdale student we would like to call up would be Alexander Kent. If you could come on up. And let's tell you about Xander. He is a 5th grader at Riverdale Elementary School. He does an amazing job at displaying hard work, courage, attitude, and responsibility. All characteristics for earning membership in the Riverdale National Beta Club and National Junior Honor Society. If you were to pull up his quick lookup in Power School, you'd see that he has had nothing but straight A's since 1st grade. I think that deserves a round of applause in itself. And it gets better. He recently took 4 SOLs, passed all of them, and got a perfect 600 on 2 of the 4 SOLs. So Xander is ready for the middle school, and we are so proud of him. So let's give him another hand. Congratulations.
Good evening, and I'm looking around and I do not see our other student of the month, but Aubrey Artis is a 4th grader at Riverdale, and she recently showed self-control, courage, responsibility, and teamwork as she assisted her bus driver in saving a choking student's life while on the bus. Although this student was her cousin, she was able to get him to the front of the bus, to the bus driver, as he pulled over. We commend Aubrey on her quick thinking and actions displayed on Wednesday afternoon, June 7th, on bus 221. We're so proud of her.
All right, next we have Southampton Middle School, Mr. Mark Barfield.
Good evening, everyone. Our students for the 8th grade are on their way back from King's Dominion, so they're not here tonight. But I would like to recognize Ms. Antonia Grant as she was being recognized for being one of the most improved 8th grader for this school year. Antonia has taken on citizenship. She assists Dr. White in the cafeteria every morning to ensure that the cafeteria is clean after breakfast, and she has grown from September up until this time, so we thought it not robbery to recognize Antonia for her maturity and her growth. Antonia Grant, and so I will present her certificate on tomorrow to her. Second is Mr. Lane Trail. Mr. Lane Trail is one of the most respectable young men in the building. Every morning he walks in, he's going to greet you and call you by name, and he's going to say, yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. And so Lane is a trailblazer. He's not only well-mannered, but he's also performing scholastic in the classroom. He makes sure that he's making sure that his work is completed, as well he is an athlete. So we recognize Lane tonight for being a well-rounded young man, for his scholarship and being an athlete, and also being able to have respect. So we recognize Lane Trail on tonight. Thank you.
Next we have Mr. Billy Jenkins, our 7th grade principal.
Good evening. Tonight, our 7th grade, we have 2 students, one of which I don't believe is here, and that will be the first I will recognize, and his name is Tucker Stewart. Tucker is a young man. I think many times when we give out this award, I know I do, we focus on the student element of the child, and we forget the things that make the parents proud. This is a young man that makes parents proud. He's very polite, very mannerable, always strives to please, and does anything you ask him to do. This is a young man that we are proud at the middle school to see walk our halls every day, and we look forward to what he can bring. Our next one is a really special one to me. Miss Paris Newsom. Miss Paris, if you'll come here and stand beside me for 1 second. Miss Paris is that student that we started at the beginning of the year with, that I had to visit with often. Many times in middle school, we see immature behaviors. And they start in 6th grade, and they go all the way until we see them. I see them over here in the high school, and I think they finally got it. Well, this is a fortunate situation, because since Christmas, it must have clicked with Paris, because that maturity process that we normally see between 8th and 9th grade, Paris hit it in 7th grade. And I think the best thing about this is Paris knows it's clicked with her. Her grades have improved. Her behaviors has improved. She's one of the best 7th graders we have at the middle school, and she has done it on her own.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Last but not least, we have Dr. White, our 6th grade principal.
Everyone. So tonight I wanted to recognize these 2 fine young men, because they always keep me humble. They always find a way to say, Dr. White, don't forget about us. And we all know as we get busy, even with our children and our animals, and we're in the school, we're doing our day-to-day, kind of spend a little bit more time with maybe 10%, right, or that one child. But we can't forget about that 90% that still do what they're supposed to do every day, that still comes and give it their all. And these are my babies that remind me, not like, don't forget about us. And they have the most gracious way of reminding me of that. With Elijah, it could just be a smile. And with Andrew, he says, Dr. White, don't forget about us. And so babies, I wanted to let you know tonight, I did not forget about you. And I would love if you could accept this recognition as the superintendent's 6th grade students of the month. And this is Mr. Elijah Crawford and Mr. Andrew Woodward.
Thank you, Dr. White, for
Not only is he a student athlete, but he is a scholar student athlete. He was announced as first team all-star punter in football and was recognized as first team all-district goalkeeper in soccer. We do have a screenshot business, and Aaron has been very instrumental in getting that business up and running. And not only is he involved with that, but he takes pictures. He's always the person behind the camera. He is an honor student, and he looks forward to his senior year. And he's made honor roll all 3 quarters, and even the 4th quarter. We're going to count that, okay? Aaron is the son of Christina Parsons and Jeremy Bree. I cannot say how great he is, how wonderful a student he is. We are fortunate to have you here. Keep up the good work. Gotcha. Thank you. Now, we have one student, Aaron. Would you bring my script back, please? That is not with us. And this is a senior. Thank you. This senior's name is Alexis Artist. Alexis is also an honor student. She recently graduated from Paul D. Camp. And she's unable to be here, so she texted me and she said, hey, I can't attend because I'm at MEPS right now down at Fort Lee. So of course I asked her, what is MEPS? And she replied, MEPS is the process in which the military assesses professionals for their qualifications to enter a branch of the United States Armed Forces. So I got my physical training and stuff well underway. And it's fine if you announce that. So right now, from Southampton to Fort Lee, we hope that she knows that we are recognizing her. She's a member of the National Honor Society and also the Student Council Association. She loves to volunteer, and she plans to pursue neonatal nursing. I think you can appreciate that. So again, I am so pleased to recognize these 2 wonderful students as the Superintendent Students of the Month for Southampton High School. Go get ready.
Congratulations, students, and thank you, parents and faculty and staff, for all the hard work that you do. Do we have any public comments? Okay, so we are now moving to the public comment period, but we did not have anyone to sign up for the public comment period. We have no matters from previous meetings, so we're now down to action items. But before we go on, if the parents and students would like to leave, we'll take a few minutes to give them a chance to exit. If you'd like to stay for the remaining of the meeting, we'd certainly love to have you stay, but if you want to leave, we'll give you a couple of minutes to do that now. So our first action item is the financial report and payment of bills. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, Mrs. Joy Carr, our Director of Finance, will present our financial report and payment of bills. While she's there, if it pleases the board, we would also like for her to make a presentation about the school operating budget.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. If I can bring your attention to the preliminary expenditure report for the month of May, you'll notice that our estimated local operating budget for fiscal year 22-23 is at $38,536,718.88. Our actual expenditures through May 31st total $29,339,260.50. This leaves us a balance of $9,197,458.38. Please note that as of the date of this report, 76.13% has been expended from the operating budget. The May bill list has been attached to the agenda with the board's approval tonight. Are there any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Clark before she talks about the revised 23-24 budget?
No, I just want to say that I've looked at the bills,
Okay, so we have a motion from Mr. Smith. Sir. A second from Mr. Scott to pay the bills as presented. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. So now, Ms. Carr, would you tell us about the revised school operating budget?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, on May the 23rd, Southampton County Board of Supervisors approved a total of $35,613,363 for the Southampton County Public Schools operating budget for the fiscal year 23-24. This amount was $3,281,471 less than the amount approved by the school board at its March meeting. Last month, we discussed the cuts that were to be made to balance the budget. Tonight, we present the revised budget by major category and line item. So you should have received a revised budget book. The federal program budgets were revised to include the latest information available, and the total FY24 budget, including all state and federal programs, is $39,424,124. The General Assembly has yet to approve budget amendments proposed by both the House and Senate for the upcoming fiscal year, which included a 7% increase for all SOQ funded positions. As of this date, the approved state budget for FY24 only includes a 5% increase for all SOQ funded positions. Contracts for all employees have been prepared using the 5% increase and will be distributed this week with your approval. Should the General Assembly approve the additional 2%, revised contracts will be distributed at that time upon your approval. Included in your packets tonight with the revised FY24 budget is a copy of the 5% minimum proposed teacher scale and also a 7% proposed minimum teacher scale. We are requesting approval of the revised budget along with the 5% minimum teacher scale for use at this time and a 7% salary scale to be used should the General Assembly approve the 7% salary amendments proposed by both the House and the Senate. So what we're asking for is an approval of the revised budget and an approval of the two teacher pay scales, one at the 5%, which would be distributed now, and hopefully, if the amendments are approved, we will use the 7% and reissue the contracts at that time.
well, I think, Madam Chair, as chairman of our budget committee, we realized when things went downtown that we would have to make necessary adjustments. We were told that with no uncertain terms. So we did what we had to do, and we tried our best to get staff and faculty as much money as we could in the budget.
Thank you. Mr. Smith chairs the school board budget committee, and Ms. Bond is also a member of that committee, and Mr. Scott. Thank you for the work that you do, and thank you for presenting the revised budget. My thinking is that we need a motion, first of all, to approve the revised budget.
I'll make a motion.
So we have a motion by Ms. Bradley, and a second by Ms. Lane to approve the revised budget. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Then we have approved the revised budget. And the second motion we need is to approve the 5% pay scale. So We have a motion by Mr. Scott, a second by Ms. Bradley to approve the 5% pay scale. And the 5% would be for all Southampton County employees, correct? Not just SOQ funded positions. So it's a minimum 5% raise for all Southampton County employees. So we had the motion by Mr. Scott, second by Ms. Bradley, I believe. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. And then I think we should hold off on approving the 7% minimum until we get final word from the state. So I'd like to delay approving the 7% scale.
If the 7% is able to go through, does that replace the 5%?
Yes.
Okay, so instead of 5, then it would be 7.
Right.
For all employees. Okay.
But I think for clarity, let's wait to approve the 7 once we know that we have the state's mandate for, or the state budget with the 7 in it. So I'd like to delay taking action on the 7%.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Goodwin, my only question with that would be if the information comes in within the next couple of weeks, if we don't vote on it until July, is it going to delay y'all being able to get revised contracts back at if we're able to do 7? So is that something that then the budget committee could meet quickly to allow them to move forward with that and do the 7% if we get that word back?
We have a call meeting and I've done it that way because the contracts are going to go out this week. They've already prepared the contracts with the 5%.
Right.
So that's what they're going to distribute now anyway. So I think that if the state approves the 7% before July, we're going to have a special meeting on the board to approve the 7%.
Yeah, because that's what we had talked about during the budget process, was if we were able to, then replacing those contracts as soon as possible. So, okay. Yeah, as long as we can do a call meeting, we need to, y'all need to get things out.
Great. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. We are at the renewal for the insurance carrier recommendation. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, in your packet is the agreement to renew our insurance with Versa for the fiscal year 23-24. And this covers our buildings, vehicles, cyber liability, and other coverages as listed in the packet. The premium for the 23-24 school year is $237,776, which is a 4% increase from last year. I am recommending that we approve this coverage.
We have a motion by Ms. Lane.
Second.
A second by Mr. Scott. And all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. So we are now at the renewal of the gasoline, diesel, and heating oil contract. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, I'm recommending a 1-year extension on the contract with Parker Oil Company for the 2023-2024 fiscal year. The renewal prices are, and this is their upcharge: gasoline 0.09, diesel 0.085, oil 0.15, and propane 0.33.
We have such a motion. Is that Ms. Lane? A motion by Ms. Lane, a second by Ms. Bradley. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The next item is the vehicle surplus items. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, in your packet, you will also find a list of 18 vehicles that the Transportation Department has deemed as surplus and no longer usable. I'm requesting approval to dispose of these vehicles via an auction. So moved.
We have a motion by Ms. Lane, a second by Mr. Scott. Any discussion on the motion? So we have approved the vehicle surplus. The next item is the food service policy, EFB, and this is the second reading on this policy. So Dr. Shannon, any comments?
Yes, the policy EFB that's in your packet basically highlights, well, the highlights already outline the updates. But what the policy does is it establishes that we do operate under the Community eligibility provision. So I recommend approval of this policy.
So be it.
Yes, we have a motion by Mr. Smith, a second by Ms. Bond. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The next item is the school nutrition and food service wellness plan. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, the school wellness plan is based on the guidelines developed by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Virginia School Nutrition Program. The plan includes the nutrition goals, physical activity goals, school-based strategies for wellness, and guidelines for fundraisers. I'm recommending approval of the updated school wellness policy.
I make a motion.
I have a motion by Ms. Bradley. A second by Ms. Lane. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
And I would like to clarify that there was a plan and then there's also a policy that's attached to the plan. The plan is the first 2 pages and then the policy follows. Okay. Well, actually, the policy just outlines what's in the plan. That's it. It's the exact same thing, but it's more specific.
So we do need a motion to approve the plan.
So moved.
Is that Ms. Lane?
Yes.
We have a second.
Second.
Mr. Smith, we have a motion by Ms. Lane, a second by Mr. Smith to approve the local school wellness policy. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The next action item is the school food services code of conduct. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, ma'am. I'm recommending approval of the written code of conduct for the Food Services Department. This policy outlines standards for selection, awarding, and administering contracts between Southampton County Public School Division and any of its providers.
So
Be it.
moved.
Have a motion by Mr. Smith, a second by Ms. Lane. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The next action item is Title I, Part A. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, ma'am. Title I, Part A is for improving basic programs. And with this provision of Title I, Part A, we're able to fund 5 reading specialists and 5 pre-K paraprofessionals. The amount is $610,460.08. Plus, we receive an additional $46,889.03 from Title IV to fund those positions. Keep going down the titles and then.
Okay, so we'll act, is it okay if we act on all these at the same time?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Title II, Part A is supporting effective instruction. The amount is $95,511.36, and the division is able to fund 2 classroom teachers for class size reduction out of Title II, Part A. Title III, Part A is language instruction for English learners and immigrant students. The amount is $2,329.14. We're able to fund English language learner specialist materials and training for events. Title IV, Part A is student support and academic enrichment grants, and it's $46,889.03. This funding is transferred to Title I to subsidize the reading specialist funding. That's all.
Okay. So we have a motion to approve Title I, Part A, Title II, Part A, Title III, Part A, and Title IV, Part A.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Lane. A second by Mr. Scott. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The next action item is the Children's Center, the Cortland Elementary lease agreement. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, in your packet is a copy of the Children's Center Cortland Elementary lease agreement between the Children's Center and Southampton County Public School Division. I do recommend approval of the lease agreement, and the terms of the lease agreement are included in your board documents.
I make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Bradley.
Second.
A second by Mr. Smith. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The next item is the use of facilities request. Dr. Shannon?
Yes. Mrs. Luann Davis, one of our employees, would like to use Southampton Middle School gymnasium for a class reunion. The date of the event is October the 21st, 2023. The time is 6 until 11 o'clock p.m. and they are working on securing insurance for their event. The cost is $59 because she is an employee and she receives the employee discount.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Scott, with second. Ms. Lane, any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The next one is Title I, Part C, Education of Migratory Children. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, in order to participate in Title I, Part C, the Education of Migratory Children Federal Grant application for 2023-2024, we were required to have the certification signed and submitted by the board chair, and of course, it needed to be approved by the board. And so I am requesting that the board approves our participation in Title I, Part C, Education for Migratory Children, and we are a member of the Albemarle Regional Migrant Education Consortium.
Motion by Mr. Smith. Second. Second by Ms. Lane. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. And now we're down to informational items. And the first informational item is the instructional report. Dr. Shannon?
Yes, ma'am. Mrs. Kelly Gillette is here to give that report to the board. Mrs. Gillette, she's our curriculum and instruction director.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening. The weather held out for us. I do have the June 2023 instructional report for you, and we'll be looking at summer school. We'll be looking at the curriculum committee as well as the professional development committee for the summer, teacher of the year, the coding showcases we have going on, and dates to remember. So with summer school, summer success, our purpose is to provide an opportunity for teachers to address the learning gaps in reading and mathematics and expand those academic skills according to our curriculum and to the standards of learning. It's going to provide opportunities for students to recover credit at the high school as well as take additional classes for credit at the high school. All students are strongly encouraged to attend in-person learning. The opportunities will provide students to have remediation, enrichment, and grade improvement. Transportation will be provided for all students. Criteria for participating in summer school includes any student that scores below 400 on the SOL, as that is passing if they score 399 or below. Students who are retained a grade and have not mastered skills for promotion. Any student identified needing a program of prevention, remediation, or intervention. They don't have to be failing, but if they need to continue working on those certain skills, the summer school is provided for them. Any student who performs below grade level, as I just said, with needing those extra skills. When we look at SOLs, we look at PALs, QRIs, any other assessments that we have the students are struggling on. The building principal can recommend any student for summer school, so you don't have to be in need of student success. You can come to summer school if you'd like. It is not a closed summer school. For elementary and middle schools, we'll have the prescribed curriculum. We'll have guided and direct instruction, individualized skills in reading and mathematics, small group instruction, and of course it will be in person. Summer school will be June 26th through July 27th. Elementary will be from 9 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Middle school will be from 8 o'clock a.m. to 12:30 p.m., giving each 4.5 hours. The high school, again, will have the course based on teacher availability, direct instruction,
free tuition, the credit recovery we discussed, new courses to get ahead, and retaking the SLLs if they did not pass, and of course, in-person instruction. The summer school for our students at the high school will be June 22nd, June 26th through July 27th, 8 a.m. to 12:30 for the first session, and another session from 1 o'clock to, says 5 o'clock, but it's actually 5:30. So each section is 4.5 hours. The teacher schedule will be the 21st and 22nd. They'll have teacher work days. And then, of course, they will be through July 27th as well. The teachers will be 8:30 to 2 o'clock at the elementary, 7:30 to 1 at the middle school, and 7:30 to 5:30 for the 2 sessions at the high school. And it will be Monday through Thursday. It'll be 18 days in total, 4 days a week, except for the week of July 4th. They will not come the 3rd and the 4th of that week, but they will come Wednesday and Thursday. The student schedule, as I had just read to you, but I did want to say that attendance every day is required to be considered for promotion. Also, a pre and post test will be administered, and promotion will be linked to those assessments as well. I wanted to discuss the curriculum committee and professional development committee for the summer. The purpose of our curriculum is, of course, to look at our grade level and content area curriculum and pacing guides and expand those. So we like to have pacing guides, pacing calendars. We like to have benchmark assessments, common assessments, our student growth assessments, and look at Google Classrooms to share for instructional resources. We do have names listed for approval for the board this evening. For the Professional Development Committee, this is to assist in designing and organizing our preschool in the summer professional development, the 2 weeks we come back before school starts. And the staff will meet at least 2 times before professional development, and they'll also help plan and organize prior to and for setup for those days. And also those names are going to be presented this evening for approval for the board as well. Our Teacher of the Year. We had a beautiful banquet where we recognized each teacher from the schools. Dr. Muriel Artist from Capron, Ms. Stacy Barnes from Meharon, Ms. Kim Walker-Lee from Nottoway, Ms. Chiquita Peterson from Riverdale, Jamie Elliott from the middle school, and our lone man, Paul Key from the high school. And we're pleased to announce that Ms. Stacy Barnes, our 4th grade reading teacher at Meharon, is Southampton County's Teacher of the Year. Our coding showcases, and I know we've discussed this several times this year, but I just wanted to make you aware that with testing, the last round of coding was just K through 2 because we didn't want to interfere with SOL testing, but that is in the process of being put together and shown, put up. Right now we have the spring cycle is available, but we're getting ready to put the June cycle in as well. And it was integrated with their content. Our days to remember: kindergarten celebration, you'll have Capron for June 13th, Meharon June 14th, Riverdale is also the 13th, tomorrow, and Nottoway is June 15th. It's hard to believe it's already June. 5th grade celebration dates, you'll see the 14th for Capron, the 15th for Meharon, 16th for Nottoway, and Riverdale has their same day for the celebrations on June 13th. Last day of school is June 16th, followed by graduation on June 17th. Do we have any questions this evening?
Any questions for Ms. Gillette?
Thank you.
The next item is the maintenance and transportation report. Dr. Shannon.
Yes, ma'am. In the absence of Mr. Melby, I will update the board on what's occurring in the auxiliary services departments. Food services and transportation are making final preparations for summer school. Our summer school food services application has been approved for 3 sites, and that's Southampton High School, Southampton Middle School, as well as Riverdale Elementary School. All staff members who will participate in the school food services program have been recently trained, and student registration for transportation will begin after this school year ends, and we're doing that because we didn't want there to be any confusion. Our bus drivers have received their incentive bonuses, which were distributed to 37 bus drivers, and those bonuses were distributed according to the terms of the grant. And for the 2023-2024 school year, as I previously stated, we will continue to operate under the Community Eligibility Program for all students. That's it. Thank you.
The school board selection, remember that Southampton County is moving from an appointed school board to an elected school board. The measure passed by the Board of Supervisors spelled out that current members of the board will serve out their current terms. One thing that's different though is that moving from an appointed school board to the elected school board means that terms will expire in December as opposed to June. So that means then that Ms. Bradley's term will not end until December of 2023, and Ms. Reynolds' term will not end until December 2023. So now all school board terms end in December and not June. Bradley?
Yes, and I would like to take this opportunity to let everybody know that as of December 31st, I am retiring from the Southampton County School Board. I will not seek election. I hope whoever does run in my spot, I wish them the very best. I hope the very best for them. And if they have any questions, they are more than able to give me a call. I don't mind. But yeah, December 31st will end my term on the school.
Thank you. We got several more months. And then you know that on the ballot for, in November, there will be 3 school board members elected. So there will be a member from the Northwest District, the Northeast District, and the Southeast District. Now, my understanding from the measure passed by the Board of Supervisors is that the Northwest District is for 4 years, the Northeast District is for 4 years, and the Southeast District is for 2 years.
Why is that 2 years?
Stay.
To stagger the, okay.
Dr. Goodman, with the change in the way that districts are now for the county, for instance, in my situation, currently I'm from Durable, and now a voting district, a redistrict.
You're right. I mean, you're right, because the county is going from 7 districts to 5, so you're right. So there is no longer a Durable district.
So when my term ends in 2024,
You could, if your district seat is open, you could run for that, or if there is an at-large position, you could run for that. Because the school board would have 5 appointed members and 4 at-large members, so you could run for the elected at-large position, or you could run in your district, whichever
and
one.
that's the same as Newsom.
Any other questions, comments? Southampton High School graduation, Dr. Shannon?
Yes, we are proud to announce that our high school graduation will be held Saturday, June the 17th at 10 o'clock a.m. in our gymnasium, and we accommodate the overflow in the auditorium.
And the student enrollment report, and the teacher.
Quick question on the graduation. Is there gonna be tickets?
I'm sure there will be, yes.
Because the board hadn't received it.
Dr. Blunt, will board members receive tickets, or can we just, or we have a list or something so they'll know the board members?
Yes, ma'am, we will have tickets, they have already been printed and, cut, and we are prepared to distribute them to you.
So they're in the mail? You mail them the tickets to us?
We will mail them.
Okay, so you should get them. You should get them in the mail, Ms. Bradley. If not, talk
Yes, we are accommodating you with complimentary tickets, of course, and preferential seating, as well as parking.
Okay.
And we will make it a point to touch bases with you through Dr. Shannon tomorrow.
Okay, that's fine.
So observe parking remains. Any other questions about graduation? Okay, so Saturday morning, 10 o'clock, we know to get here early because of the traffic and parking. Because 10 o'clock means that the program starts at 10 o'clock. Yeah. So, Dr. Shannon, enrollment and attendance?
Sure. The student enrollment, which is based on May's report, is 2,542. The winner of the Student Attendance Award is Southampton Middle School with 94.36%. And the winner of the Teacher Attendance Award is Riverdale Elementary School with 92.92%, so 93%. So congratulations to Southampton Middle School and Riverdale Elementary School.
You have calendars in your school board documents. Please read the calendars and please attend any events that you can possibly attend. We have no matters from the board, so we're down to closed session. So pursuant to section 2.2-3711A1 and 2 of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, order upon a motion and a second to convene in a closed session to consider the following: personnel appointments, resignations, retirements, and compensation, intra-district student transfers, out-of-district student requests, and student disciplinary matters. We have some motion. A motion by Ms. Lane, a second. By Ms. Roundtree. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Oh, I forgot. I need to amend that motion because it also includes superintendent evaluation. So the closed session will include personnel appointments, resignations, retirements, compensation, intra-district student transfer request, out-of-district student transfer request, student discipline matters, and the superintendent evaluation. Okay. Okay, so we will take a few minutes and then we will reconvene in the teachers' lounge.
As long as you don't.